Hello and welcome to another tutorial. This tutorial is part of a series where we're going to take you from start to end by creating a website which is going to be done in WordPress. This specific tutorial is going to be on how to install WordPress. So first things first, let's go over what we're going to do in this tutorial. In order to install WordPress locally, we're going to need a server for it, and then we're going to need to create a database, and then we're going to need to download WordPress and extract the files into the server we got. And then from there we can then go to our localhost URL and install WordPress from there. So let's get started. To download the server we need to go to apachefriends.org, and here we've been introduced a different version of Linux, Mac OS or Windows. I'm running Windows here, so if we click SAM for Windows down here, the 5.6.23 version is what we're running now. There might be a newer version available when you are downloading it. I already downloaded it, so once you download it, it will show up in your download folder, and if you click that one, just double click it and start the install. It'll take a little bit of time. It may prompt me about some administration issues here because I'm not running in the right mode. So make sure you run as an administrator, otherwise it will start asking you about permissions to create the files in that location. Yeah, I'm running antivirus as well, so just say yes to this one. Don't worry about it. And here we got the administrator problem. It basically doesn't have permission to write, so just say OK. Right, so if we click next, just say yes to this as well and click next here. That's fine, and make sure notice that there's PHP my admin installed. That's your database server, and I will install a SAMP under the C drive. Don't install it under programs. And I don't want to learn more about this at the moment. And then just click next. And this install will probably take quite a bit of time, so go for a cup of coffee or something while it's doing its work. I'm just gonna fast forward. Alright guys, it's pretty much done now, so I'm gonna slow it down again here. Alright, once it's done, we'll ask you whether you want to start the control panel or not. Just click finish down here. Right, so I'm gonna jump into the control panel now here. You notice once we get in the control panel, in the left side we got some red crosses, and that's because it wasn't installed as an administrator. So you just click on them and then install the services. There you go. We only need Apache and MySQL, so don't worry about Tomcat down here, it doesn't matter for now. So Apache is your server and the MySQL module is your database. So if you click start on them, fire them up. So the server is now running, and it's running port 80 and 443. 443 is your SSL. So if you go to localhost, we should see the dashboard. Voila, there we are. So that's all good. So that's now running as we wanted to. So notice the port number here. If you are running internet information services, I'm going to go to command prompt here. You may have a problem that the server is not starting. So if you go command prompt and run it as an administrator, and then go iisreset, stop, they've stopped your information services. If you don't get this problem, don't worry about it. You can get the same problem with Skype, so you can either close Skype or you can stop the service. And then if you click start again here, you see the server starting up again. Right, next thing, let's go explore the folders on the server. So if you go click explore over here, I'll take you to the folder. And where you want to put your files is in here in a HT docs, sorry. And you notice that that's already the index, which is the files used for our dashboard. We've got a dashboard folder here, and we've got an index file in here. So that's one we've gone on to on the local host. So what we want to do is we want to create a site in here. If we go to admin on the MySQL down here, it will take us to our database server. So we click that one. Let's just open Edge here. So you notice PHP MyAdmin has been mentioned earlier. So this is the interface for PHP MyAdmin. You also notice that it's running on localhost up in the corner and it's 127, which is just the IP for your localhost. It's basically just a repetitive loop. So what we want to do in here is we want to create a database. So we go to new database, and then we give it a name. So what am I going to call it? I think I'm going to call it tutorial. Yeah, there we go. Let's go with this. So just type your name. Just make sure to give it something sensible. Right, and click create. So now got the database created, and we're going to use this database for WordPress installation. While we are PHPMyAdmin, we can also create a database user for once we actually migrate the database. It's not important right now because we can use the root for the installation with WordPress, but it's nice to have set up for once you actually migrate it onto a remote host. So we go in here, click database, privileges, and then when we want to create a new user here, please notice that there's already a root user. As I mentioned, we can use that for installation. So we want to give it a username. Just give it whatever, just remember what your username is because you're going to use it later. So I'm going to call this something similar. It's not the best naming, don't worry about it. Just call it something for the sake of this example. No, I don't want to call it admin. Right, so what you will notice on here as well is that we need a password. So that's essentially the two things we need on here. Don't worry about the generate password, you're not going to need that. And don't worry about the host name for now. And just repeat your password here. And down here at a database for user account, you want to just give the privileges to the account we selected earlier. If you've gone to it without selecting it, you can select which one you want to give the privileges to. So just check all here. Give all the privileges so you can read and write. And don't worry about that. And then create the user. There we go. Now got a new user. Alright, and you will notice that we have created a user. We create user here. This VP tutorial. This is a username, and that's very important. We're going to use that. Actually, we're not going to use that. We're going to be using the root. So the next thing we need to do is actually get the WordPress onto our server. So let me just show you here. So if you go back to this HT docs folder, let's create a folder in here to demonstrate the concept. So this is going to be a site. So if you call this something like that. Right. You can just call it that for now, right? And then we want the file inside it once we go to it. Just going to demonstrate how we can get it to it in the address bar. So you open that. And I don't know what text editor you're using, but Notepad++ is free and quite quick to install. So let's just write some text here. Capital, yeah. Sorry, I'm a perfectionist. Alright, so let's go to localhost, and then you noticed what we need to type is the name of the folder we just created. So it will be, and there'll be a dash in between now. And we should see the hello message. There we go. So what we want to do is we're going to put WordPress installation into this folder, and then we're going to go to it afterwards in the address bar to the final installation. So just get rid of that. So I already downloaded WordPress here. And there's a link in the description to how to download it. So similar again, just download it and then unpack it first, because you don't want to put the zip file onto the server. You need to extract the files first. But yes, there's a link in the description to where to download WordPress from. All you basically have to do is just go to wordpress.org. I'm running the 4.53 version here. There might be a newer version out when you're viewing it. Don't worry about that. It will be pretty much the same concept about installing it. It took a bit of time here. So once you've extracted the files, then you want to copy paste them into your server, the folder we created earlier. So there we go, that's the extracted files. So if you open the WordPress folder up, it's the files inside we want. So just mark them all and copy paste them. There we go. And paste them in here. Alright. So that's pretty much done for that part. Next thing we need to do is to configure a config file. You need to click this file down here, right click and open it. So it's a web config sample file. Once you open it, you will notice a lot of green text. That's just your comment. So we're gonna need the database name. So the database name, if you go back to your PHP My Admin, and we need the root as well. I can show you here. So we're gonna use the root user, and notice have all the privileges. That's what we want. So back here, we want the database name, we want the username, and we want the password. So because we're using root, we're not gonna need a password. If you, however, want to use the other user we created, you want to paste that password in there and the username we created. So that would be VP tutorial for the username once you put it up in your remote host. So paste in the database name here, into VP tutorial, and just leave this empty because we're not gonna need a password for the root user. You'll notice that the DP host is set as localhost. That's the side. You'll have to change this if you're moving your installation onto a remote server. Alright, so you save that, and then what you want to do is you want to rename this file, remove the sample bit and the dash, and click OK there. And then you can go to your local host and the folder, sorry, the address we were at earlier, so hintlingtutorial.com. Give it a bit of time here, and we should see the installation for, yes, installation setup for WordPress here. So just choose the language you want to use. I'm gonna do with the American English here, United States, yeah. Continue. And now you need to set up a user for WordPress. So this is the user you're gonna log into WordPress with. It's nothing related to your database. So let's call the site something. And call. So let's create a user. You notice I already created the password, so we're just gonna go with that. Just remember to copy paste that password and save it somewhere so you can remember it. And the same with your username from once you log in, because your session will eventually run out. Right, and if you just type in some email address here, I'm just gonna go with the, yeah. And then it's going to ask you whether you want search engines to index this page, and I'm not particularly interested in that, so I'm going to click that. All right. And if you just click install WordPress, the button down here, and we're all ready to go. And we got the password there. You can change that to something else if you want. Go on. Oh, it didn't seem like it registered it. Just let's try again now. Yeah, well, it's processing now. And that should pretty much be everything you need to do. You need to have a local version up running now, and we should be able to get into the control panel in WordPress. What you will need to do every time you start your machine is you will need to start your SAMP server up or your VAMP server up in order to get to this address up in the address bar. So make sure your database server is running and your Apache server is up running. So yeah, I'm just log in. I'm just gonna remember me. And there you have it. And that's WordPress fully installed. Do that. In the next tutorial, I'm gonna go over just the basic of the panel in here, what each of the things are if you're new to WordPress, so everyone can understand what's going on here. And you'll notice that if we go remove the VP admin here, we go to the actual site. Let's see. Thank you for watching this tutorial. You should now have a fully functional website running on your local host using WordPress. In the next part of the tutorials, we're going to look at how to navigate around in WordPress and just get the main idea of the control panel. In the future, we're going to look at how to create themes and plugins. So that's everything for now. Please go check out our website at hintling.com. There's plenty of inspiration and tutorials which can get you started on your project. Thank you very much.